21st, 2017. This is CISG113, Section 1, Information Security and Privacy. Today is day number 17 in the week number 9. So week number 9, day number 17, we got into the second week of the third learning contract, problem-based learning. But today we still have student peers from the second learning contract to present. So we are trying to balance the time in this class between presentations and the important lessons to be learned. So let's get started. Well, welcome back and good morning. It's very high time for us to start. It's 10 o'clock. You look at the white screen, it is week number 9, okay? In week number 9, we have day number 17, today, March the 21st, and day number 18, March the 24th, on Friday. And today is Tuesday. And the topics for this week is virus network security, which is very much the same topic we started to examine last week. And on top of this, we have another new topic called computer crimes. Okay, so we actually come to a big name, computer crimes. So what are we going to study? So before we come to day number 17's major topics, okay, I would like to bring you back to day number 16 first. Okay, day number 16, again, if you can take a look at the topics of week number 8, topic number 5 is virus network security. Okay, so day number 16, I want to show you one thing that should be quite interesting. Let's say, yeah, actually it's day number 15, not day number 16. So let me see. This is a very famous name called WikiLeaks. Okay, let's see if we could get some idea on this. Now we cannot let you touch all of these. Of the century. We want to give you 15 minutes.
WikiLeaks lifts the curtain on the secret communications between Washington and the diplomats that we have stationed all over the globe.
I'm not aware of any release of information in human history comparable to the amount that was released via WikiLeaks.
These are cables that show the superpower's secret thoughts.
It was hard for me to look Secretary Clinton in the eye when she'd say, how did this happen?
250,000 US diplomatic messages apparently stolen by one of their own soldiers. Turned into a global sensation by a whistleblowing website and its controversial founder, Julian Assange.
I like controversies. I think every diplomat around the world will have one overriding thought. Thank God it wasn't me, and thank God it's not us.
In the first in-depth television analysis of the secret cables, we lift the lid on how the world's greatest superpower does business and how it gets what it wants. We reveal a superpower on a mission to change the world, but a superpower that sometimes fails to live up to its own ideals.
As a complete outrage, diplomats stepping in to attempt to obstruct the course of the criminal investigation.
Over a year has passed since the leaking of the cables. Now we assess what the impact of the leak has been in the US and beyond. And we ask, can American diplomacy ever be the same again?
They don't just stream on. Many of them don't, and it will take a long time, I think, to recover that trust.
It's late November 2010. Two journalists arrived at the US State Department in Washington, D.C., the enormous ministry that controls America's relationship with the rest of the world. They're not here for a friendly chat. They're about to blow the lid on America's diplomatic secrets.
There are maybe a dozen senior officials, and behind them, at least a dozen more minions taking notes on laptops and so on. And they're represented not just the State Department, but all of the intelligence agencies and the Defense Department. And they did not look happy.
The US State Department was facing a crisis unlike any other. 250,000 internal messages or cables between Washington and US embassies all over the world have found their way into the hands of the whistleblowing website WikiLeaks, and from there to 5 major newspapers.
Their message at the opening of the meeting in uncertain terms was, you've been given stolen material, classified material. There would be grave consequences if you published any of it.
At that meeting, one of the people leading the State Department's response to the crisis was P.J. Crowley.
These stories resulted from the front. For us, this was still classified material, and it was our responsibility to continue to protect it.
The State Department was right to be worried.
The cables reveal what American diplomats say when they think the world will never know who they trust and who they mock, what they want and how they get it.
Some inside the U.S. government dismiss Berlusconi as feckless, vain, and ineffective.
Merkel is risk-averse and rarely creative.
Gaddafi relies heavily on his longtime Ukrainian nurse, who has been described as a voluptuous blonde.
Detailed records from thousands of secret meetings and conversations involving US diplomats were about to become a media sensation.
Bank of England Governor Mervyn King expressed great concern about conservative leaders' lack of experience.
It was related that King Abdullah remains a heavy smoker, regularly receives hormone injections, and uses Viagra excessively.
Here were records of American diplomats' secret plans and strategies, their uncertainties and fears.
We should aim at influencing the narrow group of individuals that surround
Saudi energy facilities remain highly vulnerable to external attack.
They warned that urgent action is required. Without progress in the next few months, we risk nuclear proliferation in the Middle East.
All of this classified information was now in the hands of journalists. In Washington, there was panic.
When the newspapers gave us access so that we could begin to get a sense of it, I think there was just a growing sense of horror.
Can you remember Secretary Clinton's reaction?
She wasn't thrilled. I think Secretary Clinton knew probably better than anybody exactly just how delicate some of our relations were with different countries.
The leak threatened the basics of US diplomacy.
When you're confronted with 250,000 cables, in a way it's overwhelming. It involves everything.
But there was little they could do. The 5 newspapers had already agreed on a publication date. Nothing was going to stop them.
All the US government could do now is try to get ready. They knew that within a matter of weeks the world would know their secrets. And the only question was how bad it would be.
We knew that it was going to potentially do an enormous amount of damage to some of our key relationships.
But what was the atmosphere like in the State Department that these cables would be there for all to see?
Battening down the hatches.
On the 28th of November 2010, it began.
Huge trove of documents released just hours ago by the whistleblowing website WikiLeaks lifts the
The whistleblowing website released another pile of government documents Sunday, including
Whoever leaked all those State Department documents to the WikiLeaks website is a traitor.
Within 24 hours, the cables had become a global sensation.
It's hard to think of a worse day for US diplomacy. America's private opinions and conversations splashed across every front page in the world.
So what's in there? Everything from global fears about Iran's nuclear program to news that China may have sabotaged Google.
Controversial and often embarrassing revelations of an American diplomat describing Prince Andrew as rude and cocky.
It was like that moment when an email gets sent to the wrong person, only it went to the whole world. As the leaks poured out, foreign politicians looked on with horror.
I think every diplomat around the world
weeks after the leak, the US Secretary of State Hillary Clinton travelled the globe saying sorry. Clinton even joked about getting special apology tour jackets made. But in some parts of the world, the fallout from the leak would be unstoppable.
We had to pull our ambassador out of Libya, for example, because thugs were making threatening gestures to him. We had an ambassador in Mexico, the Mexican government, they just made clear we can no longer do business with this American ambassador, and he's now being replaced.
In Washington, tough questions were being asked.
President Obama is a pretty calm guy, even in tough times and stressful times. But he was clearly incredibly angry, along with the rest of us. And the question, obviously, to me and to others, how in the world could this happen?
A suspect had been identified. Online chat logs had given him away. The suspected source was not a foreign government or a spy at the heart of the US machine. It was an American soldier sitting in a remote base in the deserts of Iraq. Bradley Manning was a lowly PFC, a private first class, but he had access to a world of secrets.
We live in a world now when a 20-something PFC in the American Army can cause diplomatic damage of biblical proportions.
An enormous flaw in US military security that left American diplomats and the US State Department compromised.
The State Department security was actually tighter than military security in this instance. So there was anger, disappointment, a feeling that this simply should not have happened.
Is it embarrassing to you personally that it came out of your department?
Well, of course, and it was hard for me to look Secretary Clinton in the eye when she said, how did this happen? Because it did come out of the Department of Defense.
Okay, now it's the beginning, you know the story.
Does the cables make
It's a very interesting story, okay? We're talking about information fraud. We're talking about computer crimes. And if you look at these documentary, it's from BBC's WikiLeaks, The Secret Life of a Superpower. They're talking about an event that happened in the United States. And it happened in such a way that many of the highly classified files, well, they call it secrets of the operations of the government, particularly in the area of diplomacy, how the United States deal with other countries, were leaked to the public through the major newspaper. And all of a sudden, a lot of things that should not be on a table were on the table. Is a big embarrassment to the US government a couple of years ago. As you can see, this during the Obama administrations, it's during the days when Hillary Clinton was the Secretary of State. So it's actually about 5 to 8 years ago, all right? And they were surprised about this because how could these much secret were leaked to the public world? Who did that? Which countries support that? They look around and finally they discover that it was one single soldier. They named the soldier already in a desert, but he had access to a central server with all those data. And this soldier had all the secret and leaked it to the world. Well, if you were conscious of what's going on in the United States, now is the Trump administration. And before the Trump administrations, during the final days of the Obama administration, that same soldier was on parole, released earlier than expected. Okay? So it's a very interesting story. Now today, we're talking about computer crimes. We're talking about a lot of very interesting things. Stealing something from the computer system without the privilege of the permissions of the owner could be considered as a computer crime. This guy, a soldier, well, of course, this event happened before the Snowden event, the Snowden event already, right? Is also the guy who took a lot of secrets from the National Homeland Security Department and spread it out. And now he's in Russia. So it's a very interesting piece. Now, out of the 59 minutes on episode 1, we just watched 10 minutes. So if you have time, you can just go home, watch it, and put your thought into it, and ask, oh my goodness, if something secret in my family was naked to the public, how am I going to deal with the rest of the relationship? And that's why they say, days after the release or the leak of this news, the US government understood how embarrassing it is, because they are actually having different leaks with different countries. But all the other table conversation was reviewed, and those countries feel very much offended. And so the Secretary of State at that time was Hillary Clinton, traveled to almost every state saying apologies and hoping to restore the relationship in a positive way. You see that how big impact it to the overall world. In other words, whoever in the cabinet seat, president, the secretaries, and they feel embarrassed because they inherited all these historical dealings the country has been doing with different countries. And so if they can cover it, then everything seems okay, no one knows it. But now, it's released to the public, okay? So it's a very interesting documentary that you can learn a little bit more about the nature of information fraud and computer crimes on both sides. Through reading the series, you know that in a sense, the United States government playing some games on our countries, hiding some facts and dealing with it, and now it's released. People can look at how hypocrite the government is, okay? Or how unreliable, how disrespectful this government has demonstrated in other countries. But anyway, this is another dimension that I would like you to know about this story. So then, actually, there are two series, episode 1 and episode 2, okay? Another very interesting things about how Russia sends spies in England and doing a lot of the intelligence collections. And then it happens that there's a lot of collections for the members of the parliament in England. So Russia with them. Hopefully they still have these documentary here. So let's fast forward a little bit to week number 9. So there are many different things about virus network security. And I would like to show you a very simple news stories about this virus security. I remember at the works the last Friday, we showed you a simple tutorial on how you can develop basic security for your virus network at home. Or here is a continuous story. Just 3 minutes.
7 a.m. from Fox 35. This is Good Day.
Welcome back to Good Day Live, 7:41 right now. Thursday morning, 75 degrees out there. It is going to heat up today. This is a live look inside the control room. There's me. That's my friend Tom Jellick. About to have an interesting talk about how to protect your family. This is a frightening story, really, for any parent. A Texas couple hears a strange voice calling out their daughter's name. That voice, a man's voice, was coming through their baby monitor. We first told you about this yesterday. That monitor was connected to the internet, and a hacker managed to get control of the family's wireless system, even moving the camera around the baby's room. But can this kind of thing happen to you or even to other wireless systems in your house? Joining us this morning to talk more about it, Tom Jellick from On Target Web Solutions. Great to see you as always, my friend. Thanks for being here. Okay, so very frightening. You even said when you first heard about this, you thought, wow, this is scary. And I think what's most scary is that these parents have no way of going back and tracking and figuring out who this guy is. He's just going to move on to some other family and terrorize them now. How do we protect ourselves?
Yeah, this really frightened me. I have a baby monitor myself, and I've heard radio interference, etc. But
The biggest problem we have here is people don't lock down their wireless security at their house. And a lot of people just don't know that they need to.
Right.
So if you go out and get it from the cable provider, they're not locking down the router. So anyone driving by or anyone close to the house can actually hack into any electronic device that's attached to that, to that router.
So we can see this on our phone, I imagine, because I have the wireless turned on my phone, and I'll notice that if I'm looking at my phone and driving, and I'm not supposed to do that. But as you're doing that, you'll see pop up other people's services pop up. But sometimes it'll have the lock on there.
Correct.
Does that mean that those people are doing it right?
Yes, those people are, have things locked down. It's not unhackable.
Okay.
The biggest problem here is more and more devices are being connected to our home network. So even a television that has a camera on it now can get hacked and start taking pictures of you while you're lounging around in front of the television, and that's a disturbing, scary thing. But
it's very
happening
scary
every day.
Okay, so obviously I'm not a tech person. That's why we bring you in. How do we go about fixing this on our own, or do we need to bring someone in to help us?
This is the question you have to know. Right. So if you are relatively tech savvy, you can look at the router you have. It should be connected to to your cable modem or whatever, and you go Google that. Typically at Linksys or Netgear or whatever, find out how to lock it down.
Okay.
They always have the instructions out there for you. So I really recommend that you do that first.
Okay.
If you're stumped, call your cable operator or whoever gives you internet.
And somebody, one of the services should be able to talk you through it, walk you through locking it
In
down.
worst case, you hire somebody to come out, a computer specialist, and they can lock it down for you.
It's really scary stuff. Okay, Tom Jelnick, as
Great
always,
seeing you.
on Target Web Solutions. Thank you. Great advice for everybody. Jamie King.
Do you read, this is the one we showed you last week, okay? Do you read what the story is all about? We often have babies at home, okay? We often have what we call a housekeeper. Very often today is a Filipino housekeeper who will take care of the little kids at home. And so parents have to go to work on every day. And so typically speaking, we will set up what we call a CCTV circuit, which will monitor the area in which the baby is being taken care of. So we could, even in office, we could take a look at remote video because of the internet access. And that is very convenient, right? But the interesting thing happened to report in this piece is they heard a sound coming out from the monitor, calling the name of the little baby. And they were surprised. Oh, where does this sound come from? It comes directly from that screen. It's a camera, it has a voice, something like this, as a microphone or speaker. And then they discovered that it's because of the wireless network that is used to transmit the images from home to the remote area where they could monitor is being hacked into. And people just use that monitor to scrutinize the surrounding of the house. They can even move. Wow. So you bought a device, it was a hack, and the hacker used the device to spy on you. You understand the things like this happen? So how do we fix it? Okay, how do we fix it? And they just tell you that you better learn how to lock up the features. Normally when we buy a specific device, there are many functions that we don't use. As far as the smartphone is concerned, according to the documentary we saw you on day one, we only know how to use about 10% of the device in your hand. But the hacker knows how to use 70 to 80% of all the functions in your device. So many of the functions in your device are actually turned to a default on mode. And then if someone could get into your device, they could use it for their advantage without your understanding. So the lesson is we must learn how to keep good of the device we have. Make sure what functions has to be turned off and then you turn it off, right? So, and this are some of the tutorials to help you with that. Network Security Module 1, Module 2, Module 3, Fundamental Network Security Part 1, Part 2, of Information Security, Cyber Security threats, okay? So I hope you will make the best use of those informations, okay? So I'm going to turn this back to the presentations and we'll come back to day number 18 on Friday. So let's go to Maggie. So Maggie, are you ready with your partner?
Yes.
Okay, then you open up your PowerPoint. Set this on. Thank you.
Hello, good morning everyone. Today we are here 6 and we are going to present our general presentation about our fair project. Okay, my name is Vincent.
My name is Becky.
Okay, so the first, do you guys notice that our Moodle or other normal websites that there will have a log icon? After I search some information, I know that the log icon represents the encryption can protect our data and information well. And in our journal, there are topic questions and sub-question, and one sub-question. The topic questions are, what is privacy and what is encryption? Our sub-question is also an open question. Do you agree encryption can protect our privacy? Yeah, in this open question, I think there should those passwords in Facebook, and I think the important thing is our passwords of our credit cards should be encrypted, because if hacker hacked into your computer and steal all those passwords and your personal information, and then your life will be destroyed. So let's watch a video about encryption as fast as possible.
When we visit a website that features that little padlock in the corner of our browser, we're trusting it to keep our data safe, whether it's our credit card numbers, sensitive work documents, or those questionable photos that you told your friend not to take. Various types of encryption standards ensure that they are kept out of the prying hands of intruders, whatever, while they zip around on the internet. But aside from the reassuring little icon on your computer screen, what's actually going on? What is encryption? All right. So while today's video focuses on encryption on the web specifically, and the procedures used for encrypting data can be massively complex, the fundamental idea behind all encryption is really quite simple. Whenever you transfer encrypted information, your computer turns that data into an unintelligible text or ciphertext that can only be put back into a readable form by unlocking it with a key of some sort that tells the receiving computer how to decode the incoming message. This basic concept has actually been used to send secret messages since long before the invention of computers. Ciphers of various kinds have been used for thousands of years, and machines that could encode and decode messages were used before the modern PC ever came along. Thomas Jefferson invented a real cipher that was nothing more than wood. When we visit a website that features that little padlock in the corner of our browser, we're trusting it to keep our data safe, whether it's our credit card numbers, sensitive work documents, or those questionable photos that you told your friend not to take. Various types of encryption standards ensure that they are kept out of the prying hands of intruders, whatever, while they zip around on the internet. But aside from the reassuring little icon on your computer screen, what's actually going on? What is encryption? All right. So while today's video focuses on encryption on the web specifically, and the procedures used for encrypting data can be massively complex, the fundamental idea behind all encryption is really quite simple. Whenever you transfer encrypted information, your computer turns that data into an unintelligible mess or ciphertext that can only be put back into a readable form by unlocking it with a key of some sort that tells the receiving computer how to decode the incoming message. This basic concept has actually been used to send secret messages since long before the invention of computers. Ciphers of various kinds have been used for thousands of years, and machines that could encode and decode messages were used before the modern PC ever came along. Thomas Jefferson invented a real cipher that was nothing more than wooden discs around an axle. Modern electronics often use a widespread encryption scheme called public key encryption. Suppose you want to send an email. When you click send, the receiving computer will provide your computer with what's called a public key. A public key is generated by the computer just randomly choosing a very large number and running it through some mathematical functions. Once your computer receives this public key, it uses the key to lock the email using a special algorithm, then sends it on its way. Now, since anyone can request a public key from a computer, the public key can't be used to unlock a message. Otherwise, anyone could intercept and read your encrypted email. That would defeat the purpose. Instead, the recipient's computer unlocks the message with a private key that is stored on that system alone, making it mercifully impossible for anyone else to view the terrible poetry you sent to your girlfriend to house her rethinking things. Public key encryption isn't just used for email. It's actually the basis of tons of websites that require you to sign in securely. If you've ever clicked on that little catalog and saw a mention of SSL or TLS, these are two implementations of public key encryption that are widely used by Google, Facebook, Microsoft, and many more to make sure that only you can access your data or change your settings. Now, once the sensitive data actually arrives at its destination, there are a number of other encryption methods used to make sure it can sit on the computer or server safely. For example, you probably have a password and credit card number stored with Amazon, for example. How do they keep those things safe? Often web servers will hash your passwords, meaning that they're converted into encrypted strings of text through a process that is extremely difficult to reverse and can't be unlocked with a key. Now, with all that said, it is important to remember that no system of encryption is perfect, and experts in the field are constantly searching for weaknesses in encryption algorithms and devising new ones to outsmart hackers. So next time you're G-chatting a friend about how awesome the latest episode of Tech Wiki was, remember that it was really an epic digital arms race that allowed you to do that without everyone knowing exactly how much of your free time you spend listening to me talk.
Okay, after watching the video we know more about the encryption, and let me say something about encryption. Encryption protects our data. It protects our data when it's sitting on our computers and in data centers. And it protects the computers when it's being transmitted around the internet. It protects our conversations such as videos, voice or text, and our privacy. It protects our anonymity, and sometimes it also protects our life too. This protection is important for everyone. It is easy to see how encryption protects journalists, human rights defenders, and political activists and authoritarian countries. But encryption protects the rest of us as well. It protects our data from criminals. It protects it from competitors, neighbors, and family members.
Okay, then we have three sub-questions under our question. The first one is, what are the effects of encryption? The first one is data loss rate. Encryption data leaves the rest of the data available. However, if we have encryption, it will lose. If you lost your key from the encryption, it will lose all your data unless you have backup key for your data. The second one is certain backup factor. Good encryption can have a large amount of space for you to get your data. The second one is, what are the pros and cons for the encryption? The pros, the first one is separation. If data encryption allows the data to remain separate from the device, where it is stored. The second one is data is on the equation is on the data. That means if your data sent to the other page, whatever you transmit to where, it can also protect your data, not your own computer. And then the first one is confidentially. It means that encryption data can only be read by the receptor who has the key to opening the data. It is the similar meaning with the encryption is on the data. The cons is, the first one is encryption keys. It means that if you the receptor have the key, the other one cannot have this key. It means that if we have encryption the data is protectable. But however, if you lost the key, it means that it will easily to lose all your data. So it is the cons for the encryption. The other one is expensive. The encryption system is very expensive. It will not suitable for all the website. And the other one is compatibly. It means it may not suitable for all the system. Encryption is also a system, but it may not can conjure with other system. And the third question is how encryption can protect our privacy. Encryption, as I said before, encryption can lock the website, so it can reduce our ways for the identity theft, and that means hacker. This is our views, and I would like to pass to Vincent to share.
Thank you, Maggie. And my views is after I searched this encryption and the information, any information about encryption, I learned a lot of knowledge about this. And before I do this journal, my knowledge about encryption is only about deep web. Yeah, deep web. I used to search in deep web. I was curious about the deep web, so I downloaded Tor web browser, and then I see many categories of websites in the deep web, such as some selling drugs or firearms and murder, buying a murder to kill someone, etc. And I was using a laptop that was not encrypted, and I had searched in deep web for a long time. And then I visit a website about a cult, yeah. And soon my computer was hacked by the virus. I'm only fortunately that it is not some hackers hacking in my computer, because my computer keeps my many personal information and some passwords. So after this experience, I'm afraid of searching the web, and I asked some IT friends for me to encrypt my new computer, and I have learned that encryption is very important for us.
Okay, then I would like to share my views. After Vincent's view, I also look at his broad views. I think encryption is very important for us because every time we use the website, maybe we just search the YouTube videos or we want to send email. It is all about our data, and this is privacy too. The encryption can lock our privacy and don't let others to look our view. Encryption is the things that can lock our privacy and protect us. So, but encryption have a cons that if we lost the key, we can't use the key to open our data. For example, if we set the password, we can't open our account or other things. So encryption maybe is good for us, but also it has the cons for us. So this is our presentation. Thank you.
Thank you. I think it's quite interesting. And you see what Vincent has the courage to go into the deep web.
Yeah.
It's a dangerous zone indeed, because he encountered that indeed his computer was hacked, right? Planted virus, and you need to reformat the whole computer.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is the simple part. Sometimes if they got hold of your personal information, they might continue lingering the conversations with you. That's a cool thing to do. And I very much appreciate that the two of you explored the topic of encryptions and did it in such a very interesting way and think about different things on your personal experience. Thank you. All right. So. The next speaker, according to the sign up after Maggie, it's Marco. He's not here yet, so make sure you do not delay beyond this week on Friday. Make sure, okay? So Afonso, are you ready? Okay, Afonso. And Garbing. Actually, Garbing is the first. Are you ready? Okay, let Afonso go first, and then to Garbing. Oh, the second one, right? Sorry. I see you got a correct questions. All right. So, is that okay? Thank you, Afonso.
Okay, good morning everyone. Today I'd like to introduce to you my chosen topics, Internet privacy and Internet fraud. This presentation is divided into 4 parts. First part, what are Internet fraud and Internet privacy? And the second part is, how is privacy leaked? Third part is disclosure of privacy dangerous? And the last part, what can we do? Now let's go to the first part. What is Internet privacy? Before talking about Internet privacy, I think we should know what is privacy. Actually, privacy is a state in which one is not observed or disturbed by others. It's the ability of an individual or group to seclude themselves or information about themselves, and thereby express themselves selectively. And the boundaries and content of what is considered private differ among cultures and individuals, but share common themes. When something is private to a person, it usually means that something is inherently special and sensitive to them. That the domain of privacy partially overlaps security, which can include the concepts of appropriate use as well as protection of information. Privacy may also take the form of bodily integrity. As to Internet privacy, it involves the right or mandate of personal privacy concerning the storing, reproposing, provision to third parties, and displaying of information pertaining to others to oneself via of the internet. And according to my understanding, it's the extension of the concept of privacy in the virtual world. And what is internet fraud? Internet fraud or online scam is the use of internet services or software with internet access to defraud victims or to otherwise take advantage of them. For example, by stealing personal information, which can even lead to identity theft. Internet services can be used to present fraudulent solicitations to prospective victims to conduct fraudulent transactions or to transmit the proceeds of fraud of financial institutions or to others connected with the scheme. So let's go to the second part. How is privacy leaked? According to the statistics of China Network Information Center, there are three main ways can cause privacy disclosure. The first main way can cause disclosure privacy is illegal trending. It means that those companies or individuals who hold information resell information illegally. And the second is computer virus and malicious software. Privacy disclosure can be caused by computer virus and malicious software. And the third is hacker attack. So these are the three main ways of disclosure of privacy in China. So, is the disclosure of privacy dangerous? Research suggests that privacy disclosure has already become the most important factor leading to internet fraud. Only Peking, during the first quarter, losses caused by internet fraud has reached more than 70 million yuan, and about 97 of these fraud are direct or directly related to privacy disclosure. So after knowing all these informations, we should do something. So what can we do? Facing this problem, I offer you some suggestions. For individual in China, false part-time, false shopping and refund fraud are three main internet frauds. So people should be only alert when receiving these three kinds of information. And people should also change those bad habits when using internet and using computers. And for government should pay attention to this problem and punish those who commit crime by using others' privacy. So that's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Alfonso. Thank you for helping us to understand your perspective on internet fraud through the context of privacy. So thank you. The next speaker, according to the list, is Gabi. You want to present today? No? If you present today, you have one more chance of in-class participations. You have submitted your PowerPoint already, right? So, do you need some time to manage it? Okay. It's really up to you, just suggesting to you, all right? So you have to grab the chance because you were not here last time, you were here this time. Are you sure you'll be here on Friday? Okay, all right. So in this, looks like we have the pale lady. Have you prepared your PowerPoint today? Not yet? Last time your apples cannot be projected, right? So have you prepared a window PowerPoint using your Apple versions?
No, but we are waiting for the Chinese to do the presentation today.
Today?
Not today.
Yeah, next
Friday.
this Friday.
Next Friday.
Next Friday?
Yeah, last course we told you.
Oh yes, because it's on a particular trip. Yes. But because I have not seen that message here, so I forgot. Make sure you send me back a message, sign up on this new day, okay? Thank you. All right, so because we're different students, yes, thank you for reminding me about this. Okay, so today looks like we have finished all the lists. Clear? Do you want to present?
Yes.
Do you have the PowerPoint here?
Yes.
Okay, let me refresh. Okay. Right. So would you like to do it now?
Okay.
Thank you. All right. Granted, you're here. Yes. Please. Clear and Jerry. All right.
Today we want to talk about what is wireless network security. Wireless security we often talk wireless network by that way. The first one, Wi-Fi and Web API is similar things. And the next one is when we don't have Wi-Fi, we use mobile phone for 4G or 5G or 3G. We use this standard or something else. And sometimes we can share our network by using USB port or Bluetooth. This is how easy to hack into a Wi-Fi network. You can we don't have enough reason. You can find, you can search how to do it using Baidu or Google, and what you need to do is just do what is shown step by step. And when we are in high school, we use this app in the cell phone, and you need it only pay 1 day or something else. You put the cell phone and charge it. 1 day after, the password is out.
So we really want to show that what a hacker is capable of doing. For something like this for students, these resources, maybe not access to the internet and gaining all your personal information through the router of your home, and even hijack or interrupt your downloading. So like they can just hack, once they hack into your router, or they don't need to be compromised. They just hide, and they can get all the information they need or they are interested into. So that's the vulnerability and what the consequences of being hacked. So what can we do about it? Like very common countermeasures, we can use like a one-time password or change your password every week or so, and make your password consist of letters like capital letters and small letters, numbers, all that kind of stuff to make it more complex. But try not to also write it on a notepad or something, because the hacker can also read it as well. And try to use end-to-end encryption when necessary. Though we might not think that everyone will use that encryption, but it is advisable to use that as well. And also use VPN and VPS to network when necessary. So that's all.
Have you finished? Thank you very much for your advice. It's a simple, concise, and practical steps to help us to solve some of the interesting problems. I liked the ideas that Cleans and the experience in the high school. They used the mobile device. Did you really play that game?
No, just for fun, because I can do it and I can share the school's password to everyone else.
The password that you got from your practice is the school's network password.
Yes.
All the password, all the computer.
And just for the router, because I didn't do the system of the school.
Yes.
Just the router, I
So
can
the router.
change the password of the I can change the setting of the router so that I can make us can access it and make other cannot. Even I can change the firmware so that everything through the router I can send it to but most of them are encrypted, but some of them are not encrypted, so I see everything in those things.
Thank you very much. So we really have a hacker here. Okay, please be seated. All right, thank you very much for your sharing of your experience. So thank you for coming back, Jose, and thank you for coming back, Harold. So now that Jose is here, are you ready to share your story? You want to do it? You want some time? Oh, it's sure. I'll give you time for doing that. So allow me to take this simple break of 1 or 2 minutes to finish the attendance call for today. Just to remind you, this is week number 9, okay, into the third learning contract. And hopefully by the end of this week, I can give you back your second learning contract, the artifact you submit, okay? And so you will have another set of score. I'm thinking of making this course even simpler than what is expected. I will, at the end of this learning contract, you know that you're going to have another set of artifacts to submit. And this time, it's even simpler than the first 2. What you need to submit by the end of the third learning contract is 1 report, 1 PowerPoint, okay? Just the report and the PowerPoint. The PowerPoint is for the team. That means you have a maximum of 15 slides to report on the findings of your report, okay? What are you going to write in the report? The report could be based on one topic. All the members in your team selected from week number 8, number 9, and number 10, and you need to harmonize it. The report is basically based on one topic, what we call the team personalized questions. 3 sub-questions of that personalized questions and some findings, OIA findings of each of the 3 questions. Of course, including some references. And the whole team need to get involved in writing this report as well as presenting this report. And it is going to be due actually by the end of next week, but since I would like to make this simple, I will give you 2 more weeks to prepare the report. Instead of 3 weeks, you have 4 weeks, okay? So, and after that, I will use your score on the 3 learning contract as the basis to calculate your final grade, okay? And then, definitely, about 2 weeks before the end of the semester, you should know your, what we call tentative final grade, all right? And then, if you believe you want to have a better grade, then I will offer you the options of doing your portfolio. Okay? And if you do your portfolio, you may upgrade your grade to your desirable work. Okay? If you believe the free learning contract grade is good enough, you can just simply stop there. Okay? Because I can observe that many of you taking many courses. I do not want to burden you with anything more than is necessary here. If you are satisfied with the score based on your free learning contracts artifacts that you submit, that's it. Okay? If you want to upgrade your score to have a better grade, you can proceed to do the portfolio. I think that is much more facilitated for the rest of the class. Okay? Because I see that many of you are actually doing several heavy-laden courses together. And for this course, as long as you can have a taste of the different evolutions of method of learning, from inquiry-based learning to self-regulated learning to problem-based learning, as long as you have the experience of doing that, and have some experience in writing, your journal in the first learning contract, your blog in the second learning contract, and your report in the final learning contract, okay, which is due in 2 weeks, not 1 week. Actually, originally speaking, by the calendar, it is due by the end of next week. But I will give you the time for 1 more week, okay, so you have actually 4 weeks time to do that. And after that, we still have 2 more weeks to let you see your final grade, okay? And then if you do not believe it's good enough, you may choose to do the portfolio part, okay? That will upgrade your work. If you believe your grade is okay, then well, you can just stop there and concentrate on your other courses. I think that should work out for the rest of the semester, okay? But you need to plan ahead. For those of you who have not given me your team membership yet, make sure you give me your team memberships, okay? So because I expect 4 persons in a team, or even in some team 5, all right? So that would be good enough. I think this could help you a lot, okay? Just to make sure you are not being pressured into spending extra amount of time here, but in other much more important courses, all right? So now let me go to the attendance call. Cody, thank you. Anson is not here. Tracy is not here today. Or she's excused. Yeah. Alfonso, thank you. Neon is not here today. Franco, not here today. Clears, thank you. So Juno, okay. Shadow is not here today. He must be very busy doing the hard work. Jerry. Carol is here. Henry is not here today. Okay. And then Marco is here. Maggie is here. Vincent is here. And Jeff, are you here? Thank you. Henry, are you going to do your presentation next week? Or this Friday? No? You're not going to do it? Dongyan, thank you. Marion is not here, okay? Carol, you're here. Nicholas is not here. Albert is here. Jose is here. All right. So Tiger is here. Thank you. That's very good. Do you have any comments on the work you're going to do? No? Okay. So for those of you who sign up already here, please make sure you upload your PowerPoint and go forward with your presentations. And I'm counting garbage in on this Friday, okay? So, and then it's almost done. Tracy and Co will be doing it next Friday. Yeah. Marco will be doing it this Friday, right? So we have two pairs this Friday. That will be good, okay? So I think as I've shared with you, work hard. You have 2 more weeks, actually 3 weeks from today, to get your report and PowerPoint done for your team. Okay, so you need to negotiate with your team member what team personalized question you want to do. Just like in the previous proposal, after you have your personalized team question, you need to come up with 3 sub-questions of your team personalized questions. And then for each of the sub-questions, you need to work out the OIA set. And then you need to have 3 references for 1 question, so 9 references for all the 3 questions for your team report, okay? And then you have to come up with a PowerPoint with not more than 15 slides. So for your personalized PowerPoint is 5 slides, for your peer PowerPoint is 10 slides, and for your team PowerPoint is 15 slides, okay? So, and then you should be ready to submit this report by the end of 2 weeks, okay? From counting, not 3 weeks, counting from this week, 3 weeks later, okay? Not by the end of next week, but by the end of 3 weeks counting from today. And then you will have the presentations immediately on the week up to your submissions, okay? And so you have about 14 days to make up for your bonus work as a portfolio if you do not believe your grade is good enough, okay? We will count your semester grade based on the 3 submissions: learning contract 1, learning contract 2, and learning contract 3. Okay? And then you do not think your grade is good enough, you will select to do the bonus work. Alright? So my job is to make sure by the end of this week, I will get your second learning contract back to you. Okay? Alright? So I think that will be important. But definitely, your input in the in-class presentations or sharing will count. That is to your advantage. Okay? So make sure you have done 5 in-class sharing, that you have 20% as the cushions. Okay? So I think that's for CISG113, Section 1, Information Security and Privacy, on day number 17, today, March the 21st.